here at the ARF at their 75th anniversary convention, asking the question, where will you be focusing your research efforts over the next couple of years?
We are going to focus heavily on addressable TV advertising and continue to work with set-top data and databases that can work with set-top data. And then we will also be focusing on finding new ad models on emerging media platforms and scaling them to the marketplace.
Thank you. I wish you a lot of success in that.
There are clearly two directions where the media research has to go. One is the holistic multimedia with the person at the center. And the second one, it is to move ahead in the measurement of the internet and all the connected services of the online world. Those are two main priorities you find top of mind of most advertisers.
Thank you.
I think what we're looking at is more integration combinations of data. We've got a tsunami of data. They can provide riches for brand marketers, advertisers, agencies, and the media vendors. Somehow we've got to learn how to integrate them, make them comparable, and harmonize them. I think that's where it's going to be.
Well, we need to replicate the results that Mars reported here yesterday, that their ROI went up as a result of using TRA data. We have to compound that further by having those results replicated by other CPG, prescription drug, car, and other advertisers. We obviously have to branch out to other media beyond television. And we need to make it easier for media agencies under the heavy pressure that they're under to perform with fairly scarce resources, caused by the procurement process. We have to make it easier for them to action our data, to integrate it in Nielsen currency, to get buys done. And we've got a very fast system, but you may have read that we're integrating with MediaBank, with the agency management systems. I think you and I talked about that a while back. This is finally happening, so that's going to keep us pretty busy, all that stuff, for the next 2 years.
Well, that's great. Very exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's in multiple phases. I think that because cinema's been around for a while, but because of its evolution into digital, I think that we need to do a couple of things. One is more cross-platform research, so understanding and showing how cinema works in the media mix from an actual application standpoint. So we call likability and metrics, word of mouth, recommend, trial, some kind of call to action, but how that same ad or similar ad works in cinema, TV, online, and in all these different digital applications. I think another piece of where we're looking to do things is integrate our cinema audience measurement. We've been measured by Nielsen since probably over 10 years now, and we need to get into the planning systems to make it easy for the marketplace to plan and buy us and make us also top of mind. So as a joint effort, probably through the Cinema Advertising Council, finding a way to integrate our currency into the systems that are used most often. I think those are two of the biggest things that we'll be focusing on.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I really think that the internet is going to be really, really big, and there will be a point that everyone is going to be using the internet from their home. What time? What day? Oh, it's 2011. Oh, I forgot. Actually, I kind of wanted to make a point is that 10 years ago, if we had this conversation and you said that you'd be at a conference and people were talking about set-top box rating complementing or as a substitution for Nielsen or social media, or that Facebook would have 500 million users throughout the world, and the age and sex and all of them, and that you can do interactive marketing research with those groups, and people don't even know that it's research, they actually sort of think that it's content, and the fact that 40% of the people have smartphones and the internet in their pocket. It's like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe, or much better than Douglas Adams could have imagined has actually come on. So it's not a very clever answer. I can say that all the fun things they were talking about now are set-top box and social media and integration are all things that we can predict. But I guess the point is, a few years from now, what will be hot next? And I guess we're all hoping we're going to be here to play with it.
Thank you very much. It's great.
Concentrating research efforts in the next couple of years, there are a couple of more key topics. 3 screens, mobile, expanding universe measurement so that we're tracking digital consumption across platforms and maybe changing the definition of the universe so that we're projecting to consumers using the internet regardless of the device or the platform. And then also integrating not just exposure to advertising, not just reach and frequency or gross rating points, but also the quality of the creative and the effect that the quality of the creative has on the performance of the campaign. We know that the creative execution can have 4 times as much of an impact on the performance of the campaign as the media placement. It's a really important piece of the equation that, especially online, needs to be layered into the process.
Well, very interesting. Thank you.
I'd rather not think 2 years out. I've been here 3 weeks, so it's a little early to have visions really long term. We have an amazing single source database. I think the potential and the value in that data has not yet been mined, or nobody has figured out how to use this data in the best possible ways. So certainly that's an ongoing effort to continuously develop and evolve into much, much better techniques. Of course, we'll be expanding. We're currently consumer packaged goods, but we'll be expanding into other verticals. We'll be expanding into other media. We'll be expanding other data sets. That certainly, it will continue to be single source. So I think the key efforts are going to be in how do we get better, how do we make the data we have more representative of what is actually happening by consumers, that we understand more about all the parts of what a consumer does, all the parts of the marketing and demand chain, that we understand how to use that information to give our clients decision support tools that actually drive their questions, their decisions, the things they need every day. So, yeah, I'm not sure, in 3 weeks this may change because I am just onboarding and learning, but that's where I think we are.
Well, it sounds great.
Thanks, John.
For the next 6 months, Charlene, and probably for the next several years, Kantar Media is going to focus in on the consumer and all the behavior that the consumer experiences from all screens. And the way we're going to do it is through return path data, starting with television sets, and then linking it through every device that offers digital data.
Well, the next couple of years for us will be spent launching USA Touchpoints, which is cross-media measurement with an electronic diary. And in addition to doing media measurement, we are also providing life context, which is where are you, what are you doing, who are you with, what media are you being exposed to, and what kind of mood are you in. So we're bringing a whole new set of data to the cross-media measurement world, and it started in the UK, it became a very good and useful tool in the UK, and we're hoping that it's going to be the same success in the US.
Good question. And if you don't mind, I'm going to answer very specifically for what I'm responsible for, which is our local cross-platform product leadership efforts. Simply put, set-top box data is a very important area for us. It gives us the ability to expand sample size in key markets. We'll also be focusing our attention on additional data streams that will enable us to cover markets where set-top box data may not be as plentiful. Because one of the things that's rough, of course, is there's not enough set-top box data to do everything we want to do. That's where the lion's share of my efforts are going to be.
Well, that's great. Good luck with that.
One more thing.
Yes.
Cross-platform. As we're talking more and more to our local clients, they're telling us about the importance of growing their business cross-platform-wise, particularly online. So we'll be spending a lot of time and attention in figuring out how we can actually bring more information to them about their cross-platform efforts.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Next couple of years, we'll be talking about bringing in more data sets. Those data sets are operator data sets, such as adding cable operators, as we've just done with Charter and Mid-Continent. There'll be more of them coming in, and also adding in more syndicated and client-specific databases. Like we just signed a deal with Polk to bring in automotive information. So you're going to see more of that happening. We'll be bringing in more and more data so that we can have a rich data set that projects to the whole market, and each market that we're in, deeper than we do now, although we do a very good job of it, and that we'll be able to have enhanced targeting with so many different targets, from automotive to CPG. You're going to see a lot of information that we're matching with set-top box data in the future.
That's great, thank you.
Well, like everybody, we're going to be looking a lot at the cross-platform issues, and particularly watching closely what happens with TV video content as it finds its way into TV everywhere, onto iPads and PCs and smartphones and all that. So that's a big issue. Our sense as a company right now is that it's not material yet. That cord cutting may or may not be a reality, but the opportunity is definitely there, and it will materialize. Actually, probably the biggest immediate focus right now that we're working on is DVR now represents, just across all TV usage amongst the demos that we sell, the adult 25-54 represents on average 20% of all viewing minutes total day, period, across the board, and much higher for some programs and in some day parts. So we are doing a deep dive right now into DVR playback and looking at ad skipping and trying to understand whether there are different levels of ad skipping, say during that first day, during the Live Plus same day, how it compares to ad avoidance during live breaks, what happens in the next couple days, what happens in the days that aren't counted in C3, but also we've profiled when the playback occurs, and we're looking at the playback as a competitive viewing source and how that's affecting as a competitor to our networks. And playback overall, again for the same demo, peaks about midnight and is comparable to a very large network at that time of day, and then it dwindles off. And it varies by day of week. So certain days of the week that have a lot more playback during prime and late prime. So those are things that we can program against. We will be looking closely at ad breaks and retention, and may look at programs that are heavily DVR'd amongst our programs, and look at how the clock is set and how the ad breaks are structured to retain audience better. We do a lot with it, with integration and vignettes to create a coherent viewing experience. And so it may be that having different promos or no promos at all during some of those shows that are heavily DVR'd, that are more appropriate to that DVR experience. If half the audience is watching in playback, why have a promo that promotes to the following program?
Well, it's a very interesting question, and I look forward to talking to you further about the results when you're ready.
Well, we're working on it. We'll be glad to share when we got something.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Charlene, the answer to that for us, or for my organization and ad effectiveness, I think is going to be focused on mobile ad effectiveness and online ad effectiveness, and how TV, online, and mobile interact together. It's probably the most difficult venture that I think that we're going to be getting into, given the complexity of the changing environment of media. Right now, we're doing certain things in TV, we're doing certain things to measure effectiveness online, and we're doing certain things that are measuring the mobile ad effectiveness. What we need to do is try to bring them all together. Currently, we are able to look at cross-media ad effectiveness using our IAG panel, which provides us with TV ad effectiveness, and we also use those same people and track them via a tag, whether they were exposed to online advertising. So we actually have single source ad effectiveness for those two platforms. Mobile's trickier because it's a device, and the tagging the content on the device is much more difficult. We're working on a solution where we're going to be using the IAG questions, the brand recall, message recall, likability questions, and filtering it through a mobile platform that is administered by an advertiser, and that should be pretty interesting. It's still kind of being worked on, but if we can do that, I think at least we have the same metrics. Panel may not be the same, but at least we'll be driving the same metrics.
Well, we look forward to seeing the results.
Me too.